since 2021, we've actually thrown hundreds and hundreds of pizza parties. And this level of coordination, I think, entirely made possible by the blockchain. Like, just not possible to do this, right? And we, with something which we call Open Pizza, and we think of it as like, it's like an open source franchise. Bring small businesses on chain so they could have transparent financials and satisfy disclosure requirements and tokenize their businesses and be community owned. People don't know that actually Laszlo did not give the pizzeria 10,000 Bitcoin. This is from NFTs. First Laszlo went from Bitcoin to pizza. Now we're going from NFTs to real recipes. Okay, ready? And action.
Today we are talking about one of the most primitives in Web3. It's not staking, it's not roll-up, it's pizza. Welcome back to Ecosystem Project Demo. This is episode 29, brought to you by ECH Institute. I am Pooja Ranjan. EPD is a special podcast where we talk about different public goods projects and learn how they are powering the Web3 space. With this project, the power is literal. Joining us is the founder of PizzaDAO, a group that turned a meme into movement and 330 ETH into global pizza party. Snacksman, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Pooja. And Meenakshi, it's great to be here. And yeah, it's been quite a ride. And we're having so much fun at PizzaDAO every year.
I'm sure you do. It's interesting group. It's interesting name. So maybe we can start with simple, like who were you before Web3? How did you get into the crypto space? And I know you do some hacking as well. So please let us know about PizzaDAO, about yourself, how everything come together.
Yeah, so I learned about Bitcoin in 2011. And I had just dropped out of college where I had been studying math. And I read the white paper and I realized that Bitcoin was a currency that was backed by math. And I've always known math to be something that is easy for a lot of people to agree on. We don't agree on everything in the world, but math, most people agree. Pizza, I think also people agree on, but math, really easy to agree on. And from there, I was bought in. I just thought, this is going to win. And then I think every couple years I would have another eureka moment like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. And now it's a big deal. And then I was organizing meetups. I started organizing meetups in Philly in like 2013, 2014. And one of my meetup co-organizers actually brought me to this historic event in New York in January of 2018. It was called the Rare AF Digital Art Festival. And this was where, if you've seen, there's this documentary about Pepe called Feels Good Man and there was a Homer Pepe, I believe it was, Homer Simpson Pepe, that sold for like $300,000 at auction. And it's in this documentary. And I was actually there. And this was my introduction to NFTs and to Ethereum. Although, yes, Rare Pepes are on Counterparty. But there was also CryptoKitties and CryptoPunks and Decentraland. They were all there. So I got introduced to all of the major people building this new NFT ecosystem in one day. I was so lucky. And I went home and I bought 11 or 13 CryptoPunks for $100 each and became a member of the CryptoPunk community. I spent years hanging out in the CryptoPunks Discord, which was at the time the hub of all NFTs. And then ultimately Clubhouse came out in 2021, and I got on there. I actually got on in like November of 2020, and I was one of the people on there who was educating everyone about how to do this stuff. What's an NFT? What's a wallet? Why blockchain? And that was actually the community that PizzaDAO came from.
So you are an OG here, starting from maths, getting into Bitcoin, then NFT, and started educating about how to use wallets and make use of all those things. So was there a defining moment when you realized Web3 needs Mozzarella?
So yes, there was. And it was the middle of the pandemic, and I live in Philadelphia. And I run a community group. So I'm a community organizer. This is my I would say my core skill is as a community organizer. I think we're a community here of community organizers on the call. I was organizing. Well, I have a Facebook group that I run in South Philly, and today it has like 20,000 people in it. It's a big group, and at the time, I think it had maybe 7 or 10,000, a little smaller. And I watched as all the businesses in my neighborhood really suffered during the pandemic when everyone was inside and all the businesses were losing business and many went out of business. And I thought to myself, how can communities support their local ecosystems in a different way? And how can the blockchain actually apply to this? And so I would tell people on Clubhouse that it was time to bring small businesses on chain so they could have transparent financials and satisfy disclosure requirements and tokenize their businesses and be community owned. And people were like, what are you talking about? And so I pivoted a little bit and I started talking about doing similar things for pizzerias and about throwing a global pizza party on Bitcoin Pizza Day. And that was the real thing that got people excited, along with making an NFT. And the NFT, the secret sauce, I would say, to PizzaDAO was that we got 314 different artists to each submit a piece of art, different topping for the NFT. So we went from just a few people to hundreds of people collaborating to make these very silly 4K high resolution generative pizza NFTs.
That's amazing story. So it's a kind of grand philosophical statement about decentralization that you brought into the picture, from one person to 300 plus people joining in to support the community. It is pretty interesting and I would love to learn more about it, but I understand there is a presentation. So let's first go ahead with the presentation and then we'll be there with follow-up questions if there are any.
Sure. Yeah. So this will just kind of help me tell some of that story, and then maybe I'll show a little bit of the NFT. I think we're all cat herders here, and cats are hard enough to herd, just being cats, but make the cats artists, and they're twice as hard to herd. So that was definitely our experience making the NFT, but it came out really fun, and I'll show that. So I'll give some basics. I mean, the viewers probably know this. You may not know the date, but January 3rd, 2009 was first Bitcoin block, and nobody was really doing anything with Bitcoin until this guy Laszlo, he wanted pizza. And it was May 18th, 2010, when he decided that he wanted pizza. Bitcoin was 500 days old. And he posted on Bitcoin Talk. This was the big forum that everyone in the Bitcoin community was on back in the day. Like, this was the spot for community. And this was his post, and it's actually a really silly post if you read it. I'll pay 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas, like maybe 2 large ones, so I have some left over for the next day. I like having leftover pizza to nibble on later. You can make the pizza yourself and bring it to my house or order it for me from a delivery place. But what I'm aiming for is getting food delivered in exchange for Bitcoins where I don't have to order or prepare it myself. Kind of like ordering a breakfast platter at a hotel or something. They just bring you something to eat and you're happy. I like things like onions, peppers, sausage, mushrooms, tomatoes, pepperoni, etc. Just standard stuff, no weird fish topping or anything like that. I also like regular cheese pizzas, which may be cheaper to prepare or otherwise acquire. If you're interested, please let me know and we can work out a deal. Thanks, Laszlo. So, it's kind of the silliest possible way, I think, to order a pizza. And it took him 4 days, and nobody actually was interested. So on May 21st, he said, "No one wants to buy me a pizza. Is the Bitcoin amount I'm offering too low?" And then eventually, finally, this guy, his name is Jeremy Sturdivant, and people don't know this. People don't know that actually Laszlo did not give the pizzeria 10,000 Bitcoin. Laszlo gave this Bitcoin to Jeremy. And Jeremy went to the pizzeria and he exchanged the Bitcoin. He bought the pizza for Laszlo. He called him, he ordered it for Laszlo. Well, he says he spent all the Bitcoin traveling, actually. So, so there are 2 people lost 10,000 Bitcoin in the story in a way. So Jeremy is kind of the hidden hero here. And for me, what I love about this is it's a reminder that people are layer 0, right? This whole ecosystem exists on top of people who are making transactions. And who actually bought the pizza? Well, it was Jeremy. And yes, and Laszlo got his pizza. He ate it with his kids. The shirt says "I love pizza." Just a historic photo. And So this was the ground that PizzaDAO kind of like drew on, was this legendary story of Laszlo on May 22nd when he had his pizza. So now I'm going to switch to a little more about PizzaDAO. And I mentioned how we came out of Clubhouse and we built this NFT. And here's what we've done. So since 2021, we've actually thrown hundreds and hundreds of pizza parties. We spent over $1 million on pizza, and we bring the world together around pizza, shared beliefs, in decentralization, in self-sovereignty, in self-custody, and that pizza is really good. And so we finally, last year, actually, we were in over 400 cities across 100 some countries, and there's about 20,000 people that came out to eat pizza together on this one day, May 22nd. And we have Cheech and Chong actually have come to pizza parties with us. We have friends all over the world, of course. We've worked with, I mean, so many companies in the ecosystem, many more than are even on this slide. All the major cities where, we're throwing parties. And I just have some photos from around the world that are really fun. We'll just go through this. This is Vienna. This is like this beautiful museum they throw their party in. This is the Ninja Turtles come to our parties sometimes because they love pizza. Can't keep them away, honestly. And Europe, we do. Actually, this is actually in Ukraine. We had a really big party. Oh my gosh, this is in the Cayman Islands. They did a yacht party. Of course they did, right? We're big all across South America, or in the Middle East. This is actually in Beirut. Oh, look, they translated our presentation. We're across Asia. We're, yeah, I mean, everywhere you can imagine. Although we are really focused on growing in China, I will say we are very focused on growing in China because we're not as big as we want there. It's they can't really talk about cryptocurrency in China, but they can have pizza parties. So so we can kind of work around that. Africa, we throw lots of parties. Nigeria, the crypto scene in Nigeria is massive. And then beyond this, we also throw conference side events. So like every month we're throwing a conference side event somewhere in the world. This was at ETH Denver. This was at Devcon. This was at the Web3 Bridge in Nigeria. This was for NFT NYC and Permissionless in New York. We've thrown like 50 side events over the years. This is above and beyond the hundreds of parties that we throw every Bitcoin Pizza Day. And I will show, so in the spirit of cat herding, I would like to show just how crazy this NFT was and why I think we were so well prepared to organize hundreds of parties on one day on Bitcoin Pizza Day. And that's because we organized 314 artists to collaborate on a project. So this is our NFT. And these were the very hardworking chefs who herded all of these artist cats and helped make it happen. And so these are some of the toppings. And everyone is a different style. So you might imagine that these pizzas come out and they look pretty funny. So, here maybe we'll look through some of the meats. Here's our pepperoni, and they have variants actually. There's a little bit of variation between and then these are all the pizzas. There are 19 pizzas that have been minted that have the pepperoni topping, and so we can show this is a pizza that has some pepperoni, some provolone, some onions, looks like some basil, some spinach, red peppers, I believe. So this is kind of the foundation of PizzaDAO, was recruiting all of these wonderful artists who came together and made. And the thing is, once you have more than 100 toppings, you kind of run out of things that make sense to put on pizza. So we put a lot of things on pizza that you really wouldn't necessarily expect, like cigarettes and paint and dog toys and rocks. Yeah. Hey, and coronavirus. Yes, you can get a coronavirus pizza if you're not lucky. Beer can, pills, oil spill. I don't know how that happened. So someone might have dropped. Maybe the chef dropped their headphone on the pizza. I don't know. So so we really let our artists kind of go wild and do a bunch of silly things. Oh wow, this is a rare one. There is one pizza that has computer chip topping. And it has the FOMO topping and some mushrooms, of course, on a moon crust. Very tasty. And it looks like that's a squid ink sauce. Not my favorite personally, but So yeah, so this is the And organizing all of these artists to do this, I have to say, it was a massive work of coordination and of love from our chefs, our cat herders here at PizzaDAO.
That's amazing. Like, it's wonderful.
It was really fun, actually. Working together to make art, to make events. I think, that's some of the most fun stuff you could do.
And I think that's the beauty of this community. People come together, they are aligned with the mission, and they are doing something great together. Even if it starts with like just a fun moment, it actually turned out to a movement because having 300 plus ETH to support is something amazing.
And this was not possible before. Like, sometimes we forget this. We're 5 years in, and we forget how we got here. And having conversations like this reminds me, like, PizzaDAO started from Clubhouse. It was February 19th. And that's when we started our Discord. We went from a Clubhouse room with, like, I don't know, 10 people in it, to a Clubhouse room with hundreds of people in it, to a Discord that had 1,000 people in it, to an NFT that we released March 15th. So less than a month later, and we had 300 ETH. And then 2 months after that, we spent $300,000 buying pizza all over the world, directly from pizzerias actually that time, because we couldn't have parties because it was the pandemic. So we just called the pizzeria, and we learned the first few times what to say because they hung up on us. But we could call the pizzeria and we'd say, "Hi, I'd like to buy $500 worth of pizza for May 22nd." They said, "Okay, that's a lot of pizza. Let me connect you to my manager." And we'd say, "Oh, actually, we would like you to give the pizza away. We're going to buy this pizza, and we just want you to make your customer's day, make someone's day, bring that pizza somewhere that it will really be valued and appreciated," which is easy. It's pizza. And that was what we did. And this level of coordination, I think, entirely made possible by the blockchain. Like, just not possible to do this, right? We built this art together. We raised the money. And how did we align everybody in the beginning even to work together? We didn't even have a token for them, right? We just promised them a token. We said, "Hey, artists, if you contribute to this, you'll get one of these tokens, and we'll pay you too. We'll later, we'll come up with like an amount that is fair." And we ended up paying every artist got zero point 0.1 ETH, which is about $400 at the time that we sent it out. Man, the price is down. We got this, ETH. We got this. And so every artist actually got a pizza NFT and zero point 0.1 ETH. And just the promise of that was enough to facilitate all of this coordination, because they trusted us to deliver, and they knew we could, because of the blockchain.
So, yes, when it started, it was more on a promise for a better future, a promise to have a future where people do not have to struggle for finances, and finances are an individual's control. Well, I would like to hear from you. How was it like when you received 300 plus ETH? Was that a moment to kind of celebrate? Was it terrifying? How did you decide immediately, like, how are we going to spend this money? Who should have this money? Or you obviously mentioned about giving it back to some of the artists, but the process of how you are going to deliver pizza at places, you want to give it away.
We knew we wanted to throw a global pizza party. So this actually has made PizzaDAO really easy compared to some other DAOs in terms of coordination, because what we would say in the early days? We would say pizza's our boss. And what does pizza want? And this was how we kind of coordinated everyone to work in the service of pizza. And we knew we wanted to throw this global pizza party. So it was easy. I think people wanted to support us because they knew we were going to do this really fun thing. And we knew what we wanted to do with the funds before we even had them. And then when we got them, I mean, it was crazy. Everyone was so excited. We hadn't slept very much. We were having so much fun, and it was wild. That's probably the craziest 3 months of my life.
Very interesting. So, talk a little bit more about the governance. I understand you people decided to have a very unique governance model, like one vote per person, not per token. Talk to me about this. What was it all like?
So I think there's a reason democracies are one person, one vote. And there's a reason that it's good to have one person, one vote. I think it makes communities stronger, and it protects from someone with a lot of money just coming in and saying, "Well, now I run this," which is not actually necessarily even in that person's interest, and certainly potentially not in the organization's interest. So from the early days, we knew we wanted to have a system where everyone had a voice. Because even if you're a whale and it's one person, one vote, you still may be very influential because, you have a lot of money. So there's still, it's not like as we see in politics. So we knew we wanted to do one person, one vote. And we also, look, it was 2021. And even today, I have to say, having all of your organizational decisions be on chain, having all of your money be on chain, and having it be controlled by DAO tokens is very scary. And so to this day, we are just a multi-sig. We're a multi-sig that we elect from the community, and the multi-sig does the decisions of the community, and we make the decisions in our Discord, actually. So if you have one of our NFTs, you can vote, and our proposals are in the Discord. And then once the proposals go through, the multi-sig makes it happen. And we did that because, look, DAO governance on chain is still not ready. It's still not ready. And it's not that we don't want to move towards proper governance on chain, but there are certain things that I think are really important for an organization to have in their voting system so that it doesn't fracture and break the organization. And I think one is one person, one vote. Another is anonymous voting. You voting anonymously on chain, that's actually pretty hard. There aren't a lot of people doing it. Delegation, I think, is incredibly important. And it's what's the acronym? There's another one. Being able to change your vote before the vote is finalized, right? So that there can't be bribery or coercion is another one. And so there are all of these. And Vitalik talks about some of these things, about important kind of like governance primitives. And the reality is we're not quite there yet as an ecosystem. And I think there are people doing really good work. And we are also, doing what we can to push our governance in the direction of where we want it to be. And will we ultimately have a pizza token? Maybe, but we don't want to do it wrong.
Yeah, waiting is fine. Just want to do it right. Yeah, I'm seeing that there are more philosophical alliance with Malak DAO. I don't know if you're aware of it or not. Yeah, they have all these ideas. Even Rage Quit was an option for people who do not want to participate and things like that. So it was pretty well organized. But as I understand, PizzaDAO is not just on Discord, not just on DAO. It's a global thing. I'm curious to understand two things here. Number one, your name, Snacksman, who gave you that name? And the second thing is, who are these Snacksman all over the places? How does this process work? If someone wants to throw a party at any city, how would they approach Pizza DAO? Could you explain a little bit more about the process here?
Yeah, so I got my name in college. We had this amazing program actually where you could submit ideas to the student body, and there was a funding poll. And there was like a certain amount from everyone's tuition that went into this pot that could be spent on what the students voted on. And what I proposed was something called disguised do-gooders. And this was a group where we would do silly things in costume around the campus. Like we dressed up as ninjas with yellow scrubby gloves, and we snuck into dorms and we washed the dishes. And when anyone saw us, we would like run. And it was so funny. And another thing that we did, I dressed up as like a superhero called Snackman, and I would just give out snacks. I would just run around, just get, oh, you're studying, here's some snacks. And so people started calling me Snacks, and that has stuck. And it's very fitting, I guess, now that, now that I'm doing PizzaDAO. And then around the world, so we are a community of communities. When we go to a new city, we look for the community organizers and people who are already bringing people together, and then we say, hey, do you want to throw a pizza party? And so that is how we discover I'm the Snacks in Philadelphia, but every city has a pizza now captain now who, and we're just building, like, it's Ethereum people, it's people from honestly every blockchain and every ecosystem you could imagine, and even some communities that are blockchain adjacent or not blockchain at all in some places where maybe the blockchain isn't a big deal. In Afghanistan, right, there are not that many people who are paying it, but we have friends who are part of the United Nations, and then they have friends who are doing social work in Afghanistan, and so that's how we connect with people there. So it's just this massive combination of community and of people who like bringing other people together.
A strong and a big human network that's taking this thing forward. Great philosophy there. Well, you shared the story of Laszlo. Thank you for sharing that, first of all. I did not know about Jeremy, so I learned something new today. My original question was for Laszlo. Like, do you think that Laszlo may have spent 10,000 BTC on that, or he ended up giving up that much? I really wonder right now, did Jeremy spend all 10,000 BTC in travel?
You know, I think even from the early days of Bitcoin, we talked about, the dreaded $5 wrench attack. And I think even to this day, when you're someone like Laszlo or you're someone like Jeremy, I think it is appropriate to let everyone know that you spent all your Bitcoin. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Laszlo says no regrets. I assume he's doing just fine. I know that he came back actually when the Lightning Network came out. He came back years later and he was the first person to buy pizza on the Lightning Network. So he's still around. And I assume that he and Jeremy are doing just fine.
Yes, indeed. I'm sure Bitcoin is at a great and comfortable position right now. So hopefully they are. Very well. Let's try to take a step forward and try to understand what's new and upcoming. I heard about something called as Open Pizza. So if you can maybe explain it to me, like I'm from Web 2 and my only DAO or Web 3 experience is getting pizza from Costco kind of thing. So how is Web 3 pizza different from Web 2 pizza? And what is this franchising concept that is floating around for Open
Well, we
Pizza?
say franchise. So the idea here is that, and we would talk about this, when we talked about how pizza is our boss, and we would say, well, why is it that a company like Domino's has the best technology, right, and the best financing, the best supply chain, right, and their pizza is not good, right? And this seems like a tragedy of the commons, right? Like, why is it that there are these massive companies that are making bad food? This is not how it should be. And so but the thing about pizza is that there are independent pizzerias everywhere. This is a classic entrepreneur thing to do is to start a pizzeria, and this is true all over the world. And we know the pizza industry. We go to pizza conferences, we talk to the pizzeria owners, and they talk to each other, the independent pizzerias. They say like, maybe we should join forces and build some of our own software, build some of our own distribution systems, build some of our own really infrastructure, right? That we can own. But alignment is hard. Alignment is hard. But that's our business here is alignment. Like that is what I think we are most good at here in this ecosystem. That's why PizzaDAO as an alignment mechanism for independent pizzerias, I think makes a lot of sense. So how do we do that? And I'll be honest with you, we haven't built anything yet, really. For besides people, we have a lot of people, we have a lot of friends, we have a lot of relationships, and we have trust. And trust, look, in the age of AI, trust is everything, I think, and it's only going to become more so. That and even before the age of AI, in the age of marketing, Web 2 is run by marketing. You can't trust anything on the internet, and so you have to trust people. And we have that. We have people, we have really nice people who we trust all over the world. And that trust extends to pizzerias because we're doing business with them every year. We're letting them know what we're doing with them. We're throwing a global pizza party. And as we build stronger relationships with them, we're telling them why we're doing this and what our vision for the pizza industry is. And what that is to build open source software, to build open source recipes, to build actually most businesses are a spreadsheet. When you really go all the way back and you're like, where does the brain of this business live? It's just some spreadsheet that then pulls in from like everywhere else, right? And we can make that open. Like we can make a standard that every pizzeria can use. Because there are many people who are good at making pizza. They may not be good at running a business. These are different things. And we, with something which we call open pizza, and we think of it as like it's like an open source franchise. And so that means that and like I said, we haven't built a lot of this yet, and we're talking to a lot of people, and we're especially with vibe coding, we are actually going to be able to build this, I think, faster than we ever anticipated. But we can build this, and the independent pizzerias can come together and they can share knowledge, they can share software, they can share infrastructure, and then they can potentially even share financially. They can invest in each other around the world. Imagine if we can facilitate a bunch of pizzerias in New York who are masters of their craft to invest in a pizzeria in maybe a country where pizza is not that good yet. Most of the world only has one kind of pizza. They have Neapolitan pizza. But the pizza that you see in movies is New York style pizza, right? That's the pizza. And I think New York style pizza is really good. And there's no reason we shouldn't have New York style pizza in more places. Detroit style pizza, people don't even know that exists. And Detroit style pizza is great, one of my personal favorites. So we can help to do that worldwide. And the thing is, if we do this for pizza, if we build an aligned, independent pizzeria organization, if we build software that everyone can share, and we do this all open source, well, it turns out we've built that probably for a lot of other small businesses, kind of, and they could just they could copy it. So why couldn't you build a DAO for tacos, or for nail salons, or for ice cream? I love ice cream.
Very interesting concept. Standardization of pizzeria, like standardizing the dough, the sauce that we want to
And
use.
we have to be careful, right? Because we don't want to homogenize pizza. We don't want all, and this is a challenge I think we have as a planet. As the internet and the blockchain, and AI, as we dissolve all of these borders, right, between our minds, kind of, right, on Earth, we still want to have individuality and localism. And so we don't want to make all pizza all over the world the same. And so that is something that we're going to have to be really careful about. But we talk about this and we care about this, and so we trust that we won't ruin pizza.
Of course, the local topping will top the pizzas.
Yes, yes.
Very well. So this is like very interesting conversation. I'm sure our listeners will start feeling hungry and ordering pizza as they are listening to this conversation. Well, I want to switch gears here. I want to hear about your West story. I mean, I see you are having a lot of
Oh yeah,
pins,
here.
and there are interesting stories. Yes, if we can capture it on the camera, that's beautiful. Yeah, if you would like to maybe talk a little bit about some of these pins, how did you get there?
So I started wearing this, not this vest. I've been wearing a vest every day actually for over, I think, 13 years. And the reason I started was because I had I would say, an overexcited door on my apartment, and it tended to swing shut faster than I realized I didn't have my key. And then I would be standing on the other side of my door like, oh, I'm locked out. And what I realized was I had a fishing vest that I inherited from my grandpa. And I realized if I put my key in my vest pocket, and I actually had it attached to the vest with a lanyard. And then I put my vest on me, I couldn't be locked out. So so this is this is why I started to wear the vest every day. And once you're wearing the same vest every day and you put a few pins on your vest, then people start giving you pins. So now I have 42 pins, because well, 42, for Hitchhiker's Guide readers out there, it's the answer to, the one question, the meaning of the universe and everything. It's the question they ask their AI in the Hitchhiker's Guide. So that's why I have 42 pins. Yeah, I just collected them, I mean, all over the world now. And I actually, yeah, now it's pretty selective because, I only have 42 because honestly, it gets a little too heavy. And and so I've been like swapping them out, this one is really funny. I got this one at a pizza conference. This is one of my oldest ones actually. It's a very
The
very early
Bitcoin one.
Bitcoin pin, yeah. And
Yep.
so yeah, and I love going to, I go to all these conferences to meet the community. And there are other people like Patricio from POAP, who he always wears his pink blazer, right? And I love that. And what people who don't do that, or Taco, people might know Taco, he has all of his conference badges around his neck. And, when he and I see each other, we always give each other a big hug, and then he gets stuck in my pins, and we have to kind of like, you know, um, and what people who don't wear the same thing like a cartoon character every day don't know is all of the upsides to doing that. Now, and I have a lot of pockets. I mean, I have 31 pockets. So, you know, I have a lot of stuff in my vest. And well, so women have purses and some guys have like fanny packs and stuff. And they understand that when I come home, I take my vest. I'm wearing it for this, but usually I don't wear it in the house. But when I come home, I take my vest off, I put it on the hook, and then when I go out, I take my vest and I put it on me. And then all I really take in and out is my phone. So whenever I leave the house, I know not only am I going to have, oh, my pizza slice is trying to hide behind the earth here. No, you're first, pizza, you're first. And what I know is that not only do I have my money and my keys, but I also have my passport, and I have tissues, and I have hand sanitizer, and I have stickers, and I have lots of random silly fun things that, I have a permanent marker, I have my sunglasses. I just have everything and more, lots more random stuff. I have a handkerchief. I have all of these things that, I don't even have to think about. Just like, someone who has a purse or a bag that you bring out every day. This is just kind of like my purse. And it's very convenient. And just like Patricio, right? Makes it a lot easier for people to remember who I am, which I feel like I'm just doing everybody a favor.
Yes, of course. That is another unique point. Yes, I think it makes people to always remember someone. When I was writing this story after coming back from Denver, that was one thing in my mind like, okay, I cannot forget this person ever I met in my life. So it was very interesting. And I mean, your vest is not just a vest, it's kind of backpack ready to go out at any point of time when you're all prepared. That's fun. That's fun. Well, going back to the conversation of PizzaDAO here again, I understand Devcon is coming up, and you mentioned earlier in the conversation that community is generally trying to support having parties here and there. I wonder if there is anything specific planned for Devcon, any NFT under preparation.
So we are all focused on Pizza Day. So, because this is our busiest month from the beginning of March until the end of May, it's Pizza Day. But as soon as Pizza Day is over and we take a weekend, we all sleep for a week, then we're back at it and we're going to plan something awesome for Mumbai.
That is good to know. So the Pizza Day is on 22nd of May. I noticed there was an announcement going out. Anything specific that you would like to share with our listeners if they want to reach out to PizzaDAO for any kind of sponsorship or having parties there?
Yeah, so because of vibe coding, we actually have our own RSVP platform now. It's called RSV.Pizza, and I can actually show it. So it makes it so easy for all of our hosts to organize events. And if there's not a pizza party in your city, probably if your city has more than like 100,000 people, we probably want to, and even some that are smaller, but if you have 100,000 people in your city, like we would like to have a party there. And we make it super easy. So you just hit this page, you put in your city, you put in your name and your telegram, and this will create your event. And then our hosts on the back end, I can show one of our events. So here is the party in Abuja, in Nigeria, and oh my God, they have 142 RSVPs already. And this just walks our host through the whole process of organizing an event. You get to request your party kit, you get to build your team here, you get to set up your budget, put your sponsors in. We built this all out because there's a lot of stuff you have to do to throw an event. We know a lot of it because we've done it so many times. And it used to be a bunch of Google Sheets and Google Forms and slide presentations, and now it just all lives in this one place. And we even have a dashboard actually that we have regional underbosses, we call them, and so you can see we have 138 events signed up. We have 481 people who have RSVP'd so far, and we actually rolled this out like 5 days ago. So this is not bad, but these numbers are going to get bigger, and this is going to make what we do so much easier. We are really, really excited about it.
That's very interesting. I'm definitely going to add links and show notes so people can reach out because Pizza Day is yet to come.
Yeah.
And for DevCon, I'm sure you would come up with different ideas, but I know that already that you already have a Vada Pav
Oh,
pizza
I should show
topping.
that. Yes, let me show it.
which is there for Mumbai because this time Devcon is happening in Mumbai and people love Vada Pav.
Yeah, so I mean, this is one of the wonderful things about having a community that we pulled in from the world's blockchain community is that we have people from everywhere and including as our from the very earliest days of PizzaDAO as our toppings artists. And yes, here is the Vada Pav topping by Rahul Jadhav, and yeah, it looks he did a good job. I think it's.
He did a good job. He also added that chili that goes with Vada Pav most of
Yes,
the
this is
time.
variant 3. This is the rarest version of the Vodopov topping. Actually, this is so rare that it has not appeared on a PizzaDAO NFT yet. You can see there's no NFT yet, but maybe one day someone will order our pizza and they will get a Vodopov on the pizza.
Yeah, I mean, in DevCon, ECH will be happy to distribute pizza from PizzaDAO and have this kind of toppings get arranged there.
Yeah. That would be so silly. Yeah, maybe who knows? Maybe it becomes a local a popular thing. I don't know. Maybe it's good.
Yeah, right. I mean, we haven't seen Vada Pav pizza yet. There are different versions of it, but maybe this would create a new culture.
This is from NFTs. You know, first Laszlo went from Bitcoin to pizza. Now we're going from NFTs to real recipes.
Real world pizza. Right. Very well. I mean, I love this conversation so far and want to take our listeners to another fun ride. And we have a set of questions which are kind of rapid fire round.
Okay,
Are you ready for
ready?
that?
And action.
Bitcoin or
Cool, both.
Ethereum? New York slice or Chicago deep dish?
Okay, I'm gonna say Detroit style. People don't know Detroit style is really good. Chicago deep dish, sorry Chicago. It's kind of more like a tomato pie than a pizza, if I'm being honest.
All right. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Pizza Dot intern's gonna kill me, but for me, yes.
I love that too. Best pizza city in the world?
It's probably New York. I'm just gonna say you can't go wrong saying New York.
One of the most chaotic thing on PizzaDAO Discord that you have ever witnessed?
Oh man. This was actually recently our friend Pineapple Ford Coppola was hosting a party in Nigeria in Lagos. And he gave our presentation and then the last screen of the presentation is QR code to join the Discord and like 100 people joined the Discord and it was just going bing 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 bing, and they're all saying GM GM GM. We were like, are we getting hacked? Like what's going on here? But no, it was everybody who was at Web3 Bridge joining the PizzaDAO Discord.
So it was chaos, but good
It was
one.
good chaos. Have we had other chaos? Oh my gosh, yeah, so much. It's a 5-year-old Discord. I think we made a lot of the chaos ourselves just by creating too many channels. We probably have like 100 or 200 channels archived.
Yeah, I mean, the way PizzaDAO is growing, over 400 cities they have served for. So I can understand if there are 200 cities or archived
Oh,
channels
and we
in
have
there.
Telegram groups too. We have a Telegram group for every city, actually. That's the secret of PizzaDAO. People in PizzaDAO don't know this. So, a lot do, but if you go anywhere on Earth and you want to meet some nice people, you can join the PizzaDAO Telegram group and say hello, and they will take you out, show you around.
That's very helpful. We should use this for events that we organize annually, like for DevCon, DevConnect. This could be another very good community where people can reach out for any kind of help. Thank you for sharing. Well, my next question is this or that, free pizza forever or free NFT forever?
Well, NFTs are already kind of free, so I'm going to go pizza.
Feed 1,000 people one time or 10 people every day for a year?
So we feed more people in a year doing that, but I don't know if those 1,000 people are together, that could cause a huge ripple effect. So I'm gonna say 1,000 people.
Interesting. So, decentralized or delicious? If you could pick one word to describe PizzaDAO.
Ooh, man, that is a tough one. I'm gonna say delicious because what we talked about is that in a DAO you have to work backwards from the O organized to the A autonomous to the D decentralized, and I think Pizza DAO is just getting organized.
Awesome. Well, next are a few questions which are on based on your personal preferences. Best city you have thrown a pizza party in.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I love Philadelphia, and we throw a great party every May 22nd. But we threw this party in Brussels for ECC, and it was in this old bank that is actually slated to turn into the police station. They keep saying they're going to turn into the police station every year, but they don't. And our friends had this whole art exhibit on the floor below and these go-karts that were like pedal cars. And we had a race in the middle of our party with four people, and because it was a circular, and we had like people cheering. Oh my God, there was a crash. It was hilarious. So that was very memorable, but we have thrown a lot of fun parties. So that's a hard one for me.
All right. Have you ever been to any of the PizzaDAO event or party in cognitive
I
mode?
like know best. I joke about that, sometimes in my neighborhood, people know me by the vest too. And if I go around without it, nobody knows who I am. Earrings help too. If I have no earrings, no vest, oh my God. And the mullet. I mean, I'm like people talk about maxing. Like I think I'm trying to max all my equipment slots. So no, I am not going. People are like, "Can I take a picture with you? Are you doxxed?" And I'm like, I don't look like this and not want to take pictures with you. So no, I am maxing all my equipment slots. I have the mullet, I have the earrings, I have the vest, I have the sweatpants. Philadelphia's greatest fashion tradition. Jeans are a scam. Everyone should just wear sweatpants.
I'm sure my son is gonna like this. Very well. Next question is the coolest person you have ever met through PizzaDAO.
Okay, so probably Cheech and Chong. I had the extreme. Oh, actually, they gave me this pin. Where's my Cheech and Chong pin? There it is. I actually got to with Cheech and Chong in in Los Angeles because of PizzaDAO and because of Cheech and Chong's NFT collection. My homies, they have an NFT. So that was pretty cool. I mean, oh, you know who else I know? Chris, who is the artist who made Nyan Cat, who gave me this, who is the best guy. I mean, I think this is actually the one that really, when people love this pin, because it's an awesome pin. And when I tell them that I know the artist, they can't believe it.
My next question is how many pizzas do you eat per week?
Like
Honestly,
about one pizza. About one pizza.
that's
Yeah,
moderate.
well, yeah, it's definitely, it builds your appetite being on pizza calls all day. So it is funny. Every time we have a call, people get off and they say, wow, I gotta go get a pizza. But I think I've been doing it for so long. It's just my life.
So, do you prefer to cook at home or just order a
I
takeout?
do both. And, I make breakfast a lot and I make lunch but it depends. There are a few days of the week we like to order out. And I live in South Philly. South Philly, people may not know this. It has every cuisine you could imagine within like 10 blocks of my house. So I can walk, 10 minutes and I could get any type of food you can imagine. So we're very lucky.
Interesting. So, what is your favorite topping on pizza? Like your personal
Okay,
order?
I like to get pepperoni, spinach, and black olives. If I was just at some random pizzeria somewhere and I was gonna order, but I also like specialty pizzas. There's a pizzeria locally that they make this. Oh my gosh, it has pineapple on it. It has pineapple, bacon, and hot honey and pepperoni, and it's a white pizza. It's very good.
And the last question, what's the one pizza topping that you think should be banned from
No
existence?
anchovies.
I would be with you here. Well, those were all the questions that we have for you. But before we wrap up this conversation, could you explain Pizza DAO in just 1 minute that we can share it with the
Yeah,
community?
PizzaDAO is a global pizza community. We organize a global pizza party every Bitcoin Pizza Day. That's May 22nd. And we are bringing the pizza industry on chain. So if you are in the blockchain ecosystem, make friends with your local pizzeria and see how PizzaDAO can help them.
That's awesome. And where can people find the community?
PizzaDAO.org. We just vibe coded a wonderful onboarding experience. If anyone wants to join PizzaDAO, it will give you your PizzaDAO name and get you oriented in the Discord. And on May 22nd, or a few days before, go to globalpizza.party and look up your city. And there is probably going to be a pizza party within like 30 minutes, wherever you are.
This is great. So in Web3, we talk about decentralization, coordination, and public goods. PizzaDAO reminds us that Web3 is not just about code or capital. It's about culture, shared rituals, and participation. Thank you so much, Snacksman, for coming out today and sharing this interesting conversation with us. There are a lot of information, some support, and help that community may use. Thank you once again for joining us
Thank
here
you.
today.
This has been really fun.
Indeed, it is. This was like bringing more carbs and culture to the community together. And I loved this conversation as well. Dear listeners, I hope you have also enjoyed the conversation as much as we did. If you find it interesting and you want to dig deeper, please check out the links in show notes. You would find a lot of information about PizzaDAO. And yes, if you are a collector, go ahead and buy NFTs. There are some NFTs which are like rare, which you haven't seen anywhere. That's what you can get with PizzaDAO. Next week, we will bring another project for you. Until then, I hope you have fun learning about Ethereum and the Web3 ecosystem. Cheers, everyone.